the Single Mom Success Podcast, episode 23. Heather Wells and the Single Mom blog present Single Mom Success, the place for single moms to find support, inspiration, and the path to their own success. Hey everybody, and welcome to this week's Single Mom Success Podcast. I hope you guys are doing great. We are currently getting ready for upcoming Halloween festivities at my house. And so we're, doing the costume search, potentially the costume search. This year, it's my daughter's weekend with me. However, it is her father's year to take her for Halloween. So still kind of up in the air as to what we're doing for Halloween and whether or not he has her or I have her, which is very important to know because, whichever one of us has her for the actual holiday, that's the one who buys the costume. So, obviously we're, figuring that out, and we'll see where it goes from there. I think I'm going to be doing a blog post here shortly for affordable Halloween costumes or, cute but inexpensive Halloween costumes for kids on the Single Mom blog. So be on the lookout for that. Because it's really important, I think, especially for a lot of us, our budgets are really tight, so wanting to get Halloween costumes for our kids, especially if you have more than one child who's trick-or-treat age, it gets really pricey. The Halloween costumes are no joke. They're very expensive. And, once you have like 2 or 3 of them, and it's crazy because you can potentially spend a ton of money on something that they only wear once or get very little use out of. So one of the things that I absolutely love around this time of year is this consignment sale that I do. And that's what today's post is about. It's actually about this consignment sale that I go to. And I really love this sale. And I'm doing a whole blog post / podcast about it because it's become sort of my saving grace. And the podcast is really going to be sort of about, creative tips and tricks for saving money. So obviously, low cost, inexpensive Halloween costumes that can help you save money, repurposing Halloween costumes, finding ways to do, Halloween snacks or treats as a cheap, on the cheap side, things like that. Those things become really important when you have a very tight budget as a single parent, or even just as a 2-parent household. I mean, single parents aren't the only people with tight budgets. So, but this consignment sale that I go to every year, I go twice a year, it's called Just Between Friends. I think it's actually been posted and featured on news outlets, media outlets, and things like that as a really great resource, as well as a business. And I'm not the type of person who really wants to do this type of thing as a business, though I could see how it would be really amazing as a business. But this sale, I found out about it, several years back when my daughter was small. My boys were still in elementary school. I saw an ad for it in the back of a parent's magazine, I think. As I was waiting for my son to get out of school, I was flipping through a parent's magazine at the front of the office, and I saw this ad, and it kind of struck me. It was really interesting, and then I looked it up online, and it was so fantastic because it is this giant consignment sale that they run twice a year out here in Colorado. They may run them more often in other places. I don't know. I only can speak to the one that I go to. And they hold it every year out here at the National Western Stock Show Complex. And I was thinking to myself when I saw this ad, I thought, God, this is great because I still have my daughter's high chair and her swing and her playpen and her all sorts of baby toys and stuff that I hadn't been able to sell at a garage sale. And anymore, you can't take them to places like Goodwill. They won't take them due to, I guess, safety concerns or recall notices. They just don't have the staff or the wherewithal to check and make sure everything is not recalled. So I can kind of understand why they don't accept them anymore. But so I just had this stuff, and I couldn't bring myself to just throw it away. I mean, it was just a waste. I mean, it was a really nice high chair, really nice playpen and swing and bouncy seat and all sorts of stuff. And they were in really good condition. And, plus it's not good to throw those things away. It's, it clogs up the landfills. It's bad for the environment. And also it's just, in my mind, it's a waste. Why would I throw something away that somebody else could potentially use? So I'd been hanging on to this stuff for years, just waiting for somebody I knew to have a kid, or, for it to finally sell at one of our garage sales. And then I had thought about it, and I was like, man, there are a ton every couple months or so, or 6 months or so, every season, really, when the seasons changed and I went through all of the clothes, put away the winter clothes, took out the summer clothes, I was finding all the stuff that didn't fit her, and I was just throwing it in a bag, and I was donating it to Goodwill, which is great, and it's wonderful. But I thought to myself, man, why don't I just take this stuff that's still in really good condition and see if I can sell it at this consignment sale? And so I went on the website and I learned everything I could about the sale. I registered to be a consigner and figured out, how to, what I could and couldn't bring. If you go to the website, it's jbf.com, and usually you can find one local in your area and see if there is one in your local area. I think I just typed in Denver JBF, and you'll see a list of local ones. Or just search for Just Between Friends consignment sale, and you can maybe see if you can find one in your area. But on the website, when you sign up to be a consigner, it goes over all of the stuff that you need to know. How to do the tagging and what to do, and what clothes they will take, what they won't take, and it gives you very specifics. And when I first started, I was like, man, these people are really strict about what they take, and what you can and can't bring, and how you even, all the way down to how you should hang the clothes on the hanger. And then when I finally went to the first sale, I totally understood why. So the thing that I like so much about this consignment sale is that they are, I wouldn't say picky, but they are, well, picky. They don't want things that have stains on them, or tears, or that are really worn out, or, basically not sellable as far as clothes are concerned. Toys, they're a little more lax on, because obviously kids play with toys. So as long as they're clean and they're not broken and they function and they have all their pieces and parts and stuff, then you can sell them at the consignment sale. But for the clothes, they can't have stains on them, they can't have tears, they shouldn't have, strings and stuff hanging off, things falling off of them, things like that. And so the first time I went, I had all the high chair, all the baby stuff that she had grown out of, as well as a ton of clothes, a ton of her clothes. Now, the boys, they can't have, I wasn't able to do as much with their stuff, because the boys they're really hard on their clothes. I think everything that they own, I'd say about 80% of it is stained or ripped or torn, or, at some point. So, there was some stuff that I was able to take to the sale, but it was predominantly my daughter's stuff. And I think that that's been the norm, for every single one of these sales. It's mostly her clothing, her stuff that is going to the sale, because their stuff is just too well loved and well used, to really sell at the sale. So, I loved this platform, because the one thing that I didn't ever really like about consignment shops when I would take them to the little consignment shops is there was really no way for me to know, if any of my stuff sold. I just had to keep checking back, or, I would go in and I have no idea what happened or how long it sat. And, it was really kind of up to, the traffic of the store. Were they getting a lot of business? Were a lot of people going in, So in my mind, it was sort of like a retail environment, whereas the JBF sale is sort of an event, a twice-a-year event. And it's like, you come now or you miss out until the next one hits, right? So it's more like a kind of like a carnival. It's like, hey, it's in town, let's go do that. It's the one weekend in 6 months where it's going to be here, type of thing. So I really like that. I think it gets a lot more draw and a lot of customers and more people coming to shop. So I decided to sign up for it. And then the other thing that I really enjoyed is the fact that I could set my pricing and print out my own tags, and so it's definitely a lot of work. So part of what's involved in getting things ready for the sale is obviously make sure everything is clean. Make sure that anything that clothing wise that you're bringing to the sale doesn't have stains, doesn't have tears or rips, or really faded, or it looks in good condition. And just think about it. If you were shopping, would you want to buy something that had a big spaghetti sauce stain on the front of it? No, you wouldn't. So those are the ones, when I'm going through all the clothes, those ones go automatically to a Goodwill donation. However, for the sale, if they're in good condition, you get them ready. And I always tell people when I talk to them about the sale, if you're going to consign stuff at the sale, when you're looking and checking your clothes, make sure you're doing it in the daytime, in the daylight, because you'll catch a lot more stuff if you're in your room or in your living room or wherever you're doing it, and the sunlight is coming through. You tend to see a lot better than if at night and maybe you've just got some fluorescent bulbs, or your side table and it's a little dimmer in your room. You might miss something, because what happens is when you go to the consignment sale, after you've got everything priced and tagged and on hangers, they do an inspection of the clothing that you're bringing. So it's not like you just get to bring it and they take your word for it. When you first start going to the sale, they're going to check your items. The other thing that I tell people is for hangers, like if you need hangers for this consignment sale, if you have an Old Navy that's close to you, go to Old Navy and ask them for hangers. They will usually gladly give you their plastic hangers, because typically what they do is they bag them up and I think they trash them, which is not great for the environment. And at some point they may stop with that procedure. They may not give you the hangers anymore, but for the last several years, when I'm going to get ready for a consignment sale, I go in and I ask them, do you guys have hangers that I can have? And you're going to get just a big, huge bag of multi-sizes, pants hangers, toddler hangers, adult size hangers, junior hangers. I mean, they're all just, they're not sorted in any fashion. And please don't ask them to, it's not their job. So, but I love going there. It's a great place to get them, and totally free. If you can't, find the cheapest hangers you can, because you don't want to spend a ton of money on hangers that you're basically giving to the person who's buying your clothing. You don't get your hangers back. When you buy the stuff, you get the hangers too. Anything that the hanger, the stuff that the clothes are on, you get those hangers. So what's really cool though is once you start doing the sale, you'll get those hangers, right? So whatever your clothes were on when you bought from the sale, you have, and usually they're going to be wire hangers or cheapy plastic ones, or like the ones from Old Navy. So you just hang on to them for the next sale, and the next sale, and the next sale, and the next sale. So for me, the first time I did it, I got everything ready, and I was still not completely aware of the process and how it all worked. So when I first signed on and I went, they have specific drop-off days, right? So once you consign, they tell you these are the days and the times where you can drop off. On Tuesday between 9 a.m. and 7 p.m., you can come and drop off your stuff. Now, expect when you go to drop these things off that it will take you a while. So don't go there with only 15 minutes to spare. I mean, expect that it's going to take you at least an hour to drop off all your stuff, depending on how much stuff you have, how many clothes items you have. Because what's going to happen is the first time you ever do the sale, you're going to hang up your clothes on a sorting area, and someone is going to come and inspect your clothes. They're going to take a look at your clothes, make sure that they look good, don't have any stains. If there's anything that looks raggedy or is stained or not sellable, they'll take it and set it aside. They won't let you put anything like that out on the racks for sale. Again, just going back to the idea of, would I buy something like this? Would I want to buy something that has a stain on it to put my kid in? Regardless of how much it costs, if it's only $2 or $3, I still don't want to necessarily buy something that's got a big stain on it. So they have pretty high standards when it comes to the clothing. So just, rule of thumb, if you wouldn't sell it to anybody else, or if you wouldn't buy it rather, don't try and sell it to somebody else. So then once they have gone through all that, The clothes, obviously, that didn't make the cut, they'll count and take and set aside and say, okay, you can go take everything else. Now, the reason that they do this is when you are a consigner, if you had, I think it's like 10 items or less that got taken back when they were doing the clothing inspection, or and also if you bring in a certain number and sell a certain number of clothing items, as well as, there's a couple of different criteria. But if you go through the consignment process and you didn't have anything really returned because it was stained, basically you didn't bring anything in that couldn't sell, and you meet whatever other criteria, you get put on what they call kind of like an immaculate consigner list, or kind of like the cream of the crop type of thing. So they have a list of people who, the next time you come into a consign, you can skip the check process. They don't check your clothes. Basically saying, the last time you came in and consigned, everything was good. We didn't have any issues with your items. So we trust that you will still continue to meet those standards. So it's really cool to be put on that list, because then you don't have to stay and wait for them to kind of go through all of your clothing items. Now, the one thing that you do have to do, though, is if you're bringing anything like a high chair or a bassinet or playpen or anything like that, any type of, or strollers, those types of things, you have to check in with them to make sure that they haven't been recalled. So they have they have a specific person who it's their job to have this big binder of items that were recalled. And if your item was recalled, obviously you can't sell it at the sale. So they are very, very picky about that. They will not put anything out on the floors that have been recalled. So if you shop at the consignment sale, you can trust and know that they have been reviewed, any of those types of items, and if they've been recalled, then they're not going to be out on the floor. So once they go through all of your stuff and you go through that process, then it's your job. You take it out and put it on the floor. So you put the clothes in with the, correct sizes, and girls and boys' clothes and things like that. And so you put everything out on the shelves, all your toys, all your books. And I tell you what, every year I love this sale because I get to clear out all of the books that my kids don't read anymore or that they've outgrown, all of the clothes that they've outgrown or don't wear, all of the movies that we don't watch anymore. So a couple of years ago, I was able to finally get rid of all of the SpongeBob videos that we owned, and I was so ecstatic. I can't even tell you how happy I was because they just really weren't watching it anymore. A little tip, if your children are like mine, maybe do the movie selection process after they have gone to bed or when they're at school, so that they do not know which movies you are picking, because the first time I did it, it was hysterical. I actually asked them to join me in on the process so I could say, okay, do you guys want to keep this, sell it? They didn't want to sell anything. It didn't matter that they hadn't watched it in over a year. They didn't want to sell it. You can't sell that movie. I love that movie. And I understand that you love the movie, but you haven't watched it in forever. There's no reason for us to keep this movie, right? Now, there are some, obviously, that we keep, the Disney movies and all of that. We keep those because they're sort of, timeless. We love those movies. And, if I haven't watched Beauty and the Beast in a year, I'll still come back to it a year later. I'm fine with that. But it's SpongeBob and the Smurfs and the what do we have? Yu-Gi-Oh! And Bakugan, and like we had so many different things that were just various phases that my kids went through, and so they were okay with letting them go at the sale after a while. But I definitely recommend, if your children are like mine and don't realize that they love something until you threaten to throw it away or get rid of it, you may want to do it while they're not there to witness. But yeah, I am able to kind of clear all that stuff out, and it's great. So the first sale that I did, I consigned a bunch of stuff, and then I went and shopped, right? Because the prices were great. So I basically am selling and getting rid of my daughter's entire winter wardrobe or spring and summer wardrobe, and I'm replacing it with a new one at like a third of the cost, if not a quarter of the cost. So basically, the first time I did the sale, I was this is when I became absolutely in love with this sale. I was going through the racks of clothes and I was looking at stuff, and I think my daughter was in like 4T at this point or something like that. And I'm going through it and I was like, oh man, look at this beautiful, there was a beautiful dress. It was this beautiful Christmas dress. It looked like it was just gorgeous. Which normally I'm sure was probably $49, $50, $60 when they bought it new. In beautiful condition, nothing really wrong with it. And it was $12. $12. And it was just this gorgeous dress. So I bought that for her for Christmas. But then I was going through and just shirts for $2, shirts for $3. I found hangers that had 2 pairs of jeans on them for $5. 2 pairs of jeans for $5. And I found like 4 or 5 hangers like that where they had 2 pairs of jeans on each hanger for $5. Entire outfits. There was a Liz Claiborne outfit, a kid's Liz Claiborne outfit that had a shirt, pants, and a little sweater, cardigan sweater that went with it. I got that for $5. The entire thing for $5. There are clothes that I find at the sale that I would normally not buy my children. Gap clothes, Nike clothes. What is it? The Children's Company or something like that. Justice. I don't shop at these places because I refuse to spend $30 for a shirt that my daughter is going to grow out of in 6 months to a year. So I was finding all kinds of just wonderful deals. The first sale that I did, I got my daughter probably, I think it was like 65 pieces of clothing, and the total cost was like $160. 60 pieces of clothing for $160. And that was amazing in itself, right? Then the sale happened, and the other thing that I love about this consignment sale is that you can check after a sale has happened, after the first day, right? It's open for 4 days, right? You can check after the first day and see what you sold. How much of my stuff sold? How much of my stuff sold the second day? How much of my stuff sold the third day? Like, you can see how well or not so well you have done on the sale. And so at the end of the sale, after all was said and done, and everything sold, like the high chair sold, the stroller sold, the playpen sold, all of that stuff sold. And I mean, I was able to sell the stroller for like $30, right? I was able to sell the high chair for $20. So decent money, not terrible, right? Better than if you were trying to get rid of it and selling it for $5 or best offer, Didn't have to worry about shipping it. When you buy stuff at the store, you take it with you. So that's the next thing I recommend is if you go to the sale, make sure you bring a vehicle that has a lot of space just in case you buy a lot of clothes or you end up finding that awesome play desk that you've been looking for, or here's this awesome dollhouse. There's all sorts of things. So bring a big vehicle just in case you end up buying something that takes up a little space, because they usually have really amazing deals on certain things. I've seen people sell furniture, like a bookshelf, baby, a huge like baby changing area, something that you'd see from like a nice, like LL Bean stuff, there's amazing things that people bring. Pottery Barn furniture, just, it's amazing. So I ended up, after the sale was done, everything was done, I ended up making on the sale $225. So I earned more from the sale than I spent in buying clothing for my daughter. So basically, in my mind, it was free clothes, because I was going to have to get her a new wardrobe anyway. I got a whole new wardrobe for her at a fraction of what it would cost me to buy that much stuff anywhere else. And I made money selling all of the other stuff. So I made more than I bought. I made more than I spent. And every year since, with the exception of 1 year where we didn't really have a ton of stuff to take in and I kind of went a little crazy when I went shopping. But with the exception of that 1 year, that one sale, I have almost consistently made more at the sale than I spent. and it's phenomenal. It is one of the best money-saving things that I have found as a mom, and so I always highly recommend going to this sale. Now, there are a couple of tips that I also would recommend for people. Like I said, one, like I said, if you're going to get the hangers, go to Old Navy to get those. Make sure when you're getting all of your stuff together that you keep all of your sizes together, right? So group them together. Girls size 2T, girls size 3T, girls size 4T, right? So keep your sizes together if you have multiple different sizes, because it's going to save you time when you go to put things out, because they're all grouped by gender and then by size. So you're going to want to make sure you do that. It's just extremely time saving for you so that it's all together. I recommend investing in a pricing gun. They have those little tagging guns that use the little plastic tags because they are so much faster and simpler than using safety pins. Now, you can use safety pins to put the tags on and to attach things to hangers, but I really like, it's just speedier, faster, and it makes life so much easier than having to deal with a lot of safety pinning on price tags and such. So those are 3 of my biggest tips when it comes to the sale. And then, like I said, and then also one of the other great things about the sale, at least the one that I go to, is if you volunteer to help out at the sale, you get an additional 10% on your consignments that you sell. I didn't go over that. So for my sale that I go to, the consignment, there's like a $12 or $13 fee just for, the consigning. And then you get 60% of whatever you sell. So the other 40% goes to the sale, right? Which is not bad, really, when you think about it. So, but if you volunteer, you get 70% of your sale and not 60%. So that's always nice too. And I like to volunteer because it's really great. I enjoy it. You meet a lot of really great people. You get to see a lot of people. There's a lot of kid watching. There's all kinds of kids, that come, and it's super fun. But you just, you help out, whether you're running a register or you're doing merchandising and getting things, putting things back where they belong, or cleaning up or setting up, whatever the case may be. It's a lot of fun. I really enjoy it. But if you do volunteer, be prepared to be on your feet for an extended period of time. Wear very, very comfortable shoes. Bring water with you, and make sure you eat before you go so that you are, kind of in top shape and you're not starving while you're there. So those are my kind of suggestions for, getting ready for the sale, during the sale, and also volunteering. But it is definitely a fantastic event. I go every single year. I tell every parent I know about it, just so that they know. It's like, hey, if you have kids, you should go to the sale because it is phenomenal. The last thing that I absolutely adore about this sale is, remember at the beginning I told you how I was always donating my kids' clothes? Here's the other great part about this sale. If you decide you want to donate the clothes, you can still do that. So you can tell them at the end of the sale, if my stuff hasn't sold, I want it to be donated, and they'll donate it for you. Or you can say, if at the end of the sale my stuff hasn't sold, I want it back. And then after the sale is over, there's a prearranged time where you can actually show up and pick up your items that didn't sell, and then you can always take them to the next sale. So it's a really great thing because, like I said, I always was donating my kids' stuff anyway. So this way I at least get to potentially make some money off of it before I donate it. So for me, everything goes to donation, right? I don't want to go pick it up. I cleared it out of my house. There's no reason for it to come back. So if it doesn't sell, please donate it to whoever may need it. But if it, sells, then I get some money out of something that normally I would just be giving away anyway. So if you can, I highly recommend doing one of these sales. They are fantastic. So once again, it's just between friends. It is a fantastic sale to go to. You should be able to look them up online and see if there's one locally in your area. If you've ever thought of starting a business and you have the ability to, the finances to, on the website you can also see what it takes to own a franchise, because it's a franchise. So you can see if they have franchise availability in your area, and if so, you can see what it would take in order to be a part of the franchise. It's so wonderful. I really enjoy doing this sale every single year. I look forward to it every time it rolls around. So I hope you found this helpful. I hope it gave you some great information and resources. I know it's not my usual, opinion topic post, but I thought it was nice and informative topic to do. And we just had ours recently out here. So I think this year I got 45 things from my daughter, some really cute outfits. Oh, and that's the other bonus. My daughter, she knows when I'm going to the sale. So every day when she comes home from school, she's like, okay, where is it? There's like a pile of new clothes waiting for her. So it's just, and it's not like it's not like when you go shopping and you get a little bit of clothes here, a little bit of clothes there. She comes home and she has a bed full of new clothes that she gets to look through and put away and ooh and ah over, and she just adores every single minute of it. So it's also great for Christmas presents, right? If you go to the one for the fall winter sale, right? They have one usually every season. Spring summer is one sale, fall winter is the other. It's a great place to go and potentially pick up Christmas presents at a super discounted price. So it's fantastic. It's great for new mothers who don't necessarily care if they have absolutely brand spanking new stuff. It's great for teachers who are looking for toys for their classroom. It's great for grandparents who want to have an extra stroller and an extra bouncy chair and an extra playpen, but don't necessarily want to buy some brand new stuff, right? Like it's great for all of those things. So I highly recommend it. It's a wonderful, wonderful sale. And again, I hope you found this helpful. I think it's a great resource for single moms, or not just single moms, but specifically single moms like me. And enjoy your fall. It's coming in pretty quickly here, and we'll talk to you soon. I hope you have a wonderful week, and look out for that upcoming post on discounted Halloween costumes and things of that nature. So we'll talk to you soon. Take care. You've been listening to the Single Mom Podcast, the place to go for support, encouragement, and maybe a few laughs along the way. Please also make sure you head on over to the Single Mom blog for more great stuff for single moms. We have resources, free things to print out, great articles. Can't wait to see you there. Be sure to leave feedback and comments because we love hearing from other single moms. And if you like this podcast, please be sure to subscribe.